Hello everyone, so I recently watched The Last Kingdom Season 4 and I just couldn't help comparing this to a recent disaster, namely Game of Thrones. In particular, there's two characters in both of these shows that stuck out to me, and that is Brida in The Last Kingdom and Daenerys in Game of Thrones. When initially comparing these two characters, they might seem different, but they actually go down a somewhat similar path. Both of them start out as innocent characters with the potential to be a hero in the end. As we have seen in The Last Kingdom Season 4 and the end of Game of Thrones, both of these characters end up being vengeful and hateful in the end. At least Brida has become that way as far as the end of Season 4. However, all this does is just show just how god-awful the writing of Game of Thrones is. Both of these shows have two characters go down a similar path, but one of them is good writing, and Game of Thrones is horrific writing. The Game of Thrones quote-unquote Mad Queen storyline can pretty much be summed up with the following clip.
I am not here to be Queen of the Ashes.
2 hours later.
Obviously, I'm being a bit hyperbolic, but really not by much. So exactly what does The Last Kingdom do to turn Brida's character into a charismatic potential hero into what she becomes at the end of Season 4? First off, Brida's character has 4 seasons of slow character development, and you can point to very specific things that led her down the path that she eventually went down. However, Daenerys completely changes 7 seasons of character development in the matter of a few episodes. In the first episode of The Last Kingdom Season 1, we see Brida's character kidnapped as a child and raised to be a Viking. During this process, she is enslaved, watches her family murdered, and eventually accepts her captors as her new family. She then grows up and eventually falls in love with the character Uhtred. As a young adult, she has not yet gone down her path of hate and vengeance, but she clearly has gone through a lot of hardship as a child and had to swallow some pretty big pills. Up to this point in her life, she has merely just been reacting and surviving to her situation. However, when Uhtred chooses to serve the Saxon king of Wessex, she is left with a choice to make in her life. She then chooses to fully embrace the warlike, violent Viking culture. She does eventually fall in love with the Viking warrior Ragnar, however she does suffer miscarriage after miscarriage while in this relationship. This definitely takes a toll on her spirit, as she does believe that this is the result of a curse. Over the years, she spends a great deal of time waging war, pillaging, and traveling with the Vikings. All of this while staying allies with her friend Uhtred, even though on many conflicts they are on opposite sides. She spends much of Season 1 through 3 continually struggling to find her place in the world. She wants to have a family but cannot, and she wants to feel like she fits in with the Vikings even though she was born a Saxon. In Season 3, her lover Ragnar is killed while he is in his bed. Due to her not knowing who orchestrated the murder of Ragnar, she becomes a lover of Canute, which is the very person who planned the murder of Ragnar. There is eventually a great battle, and the Viking army is defeated by the Saxons. It is at this point that she finds out the father of her baby, Canute, is the one who murdered her former lover Ragnar. And at this point, she begs Uhtred to kill her and her unborn baby so that she won't be sold into slavery. However, he cannot bring himself to do this. In one moment, she is defeated by her enemies, finds out that the father of her child murdered her former lover, and is betrayed by Uhtred, the one that has been with her throughout her whole life. You could compare this to the moment when Daenerys is on the wall with her dragon. However, Brida was set up with 4 seasons of character development leading to this moment. It was very clear the hardships that she had suffered, the betrayal she had suffered, and the losses that she had, that gave her this great feeling of anger and revenge against those that have wronged her. She no longer cares about riches or armies or lands, she only cares about getting revenge, specifically against Uhtred and the Saxons. In Game of Thrones, this change to darkness was sudden and out of nowhere. The Last Kingdom had 4 seasons of good character development and setup for this moment. Game of Thrones simply wanted to subvert our expectations and rely wholly on shock factor. Simply lazy writing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.